Hey, what's up, everybody? Listen, if you have not heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Let me explain. Number one, it's free. Yeah, I got your attention now, right? Number two, there's creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. Number three, Anchor will distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more. Number four, you can make money from your podcast. That's right. You can make money from your podcast with no minimum viewership. Number five, it's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. So right now, download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. What's up, everybody? My name is Cliff, and you are listening to the What Now Podcast. That's right, the What Now Podcast, where we, through conversation, discuss ways that we can effectively address life's most difficult moments. So sit back, relax, and enjoy tonight's episode.
Blog Talk Radio.
What's up, everybody? My name is Clifton Pettyjohn, and you are listening to, I don't even know what we're going to call this. To be honest with you guys, I was sitting around and I needed to do a sound test because on tomorrow I'm having a guest come back on the Transformation Radio Show because we had some audio problems. So I decided to get on and do a test run. And in the midst of deciding to do a test run, I said, hey, why just waste time doing a test run? Why not create an entire different show? Well, I wouldn't call it a show. Um, I want to take 15 minutes and we're going to talk about some what now moments. And when I'm talking about what now, I'm talking about when life hits us. Sometimes it feels like it hits us in the face. Sometimes it seems like it hits us from the side. Sometimes it seems like it hits us in the back. Whatever way it seems like it hits us, we're going to talk about some of those what now moments and what we need to do with those what now moments. Because I think I heard the saying that life is 10% what happens to you, but 90% how you respond to what happens to you. And I'm a firm believer in that. And I can tell you, from a personal experience, there are many times I did not handle very well some of the things that life threw at me, or some of the things that are just common unto man, or can I be honest with you? Some of the things that my lack of preparation caused me to experience put me in those kind of type of situations. So that's what we're going to do on this. And we're going to do it. I'm not going to set a schedule for this. As I said, it's 15 minutes. And to be honest with you, it's probably to help teach me discipline. I decided to do this probably about an hour ago, guys, honestly. Listen, this is so much, you know, off rip or, not planned that I don't have a graphic for it. I had no intro song for it. I just got on here and did it. And I want to encourage some of you that are out there. We're getting ready to hit December, and we're going to go into 2020. And some of you have been sitting since January wondering, well, what should I do? I'm waiting for this to happen. I'm waiting for that to happen. Sometimes you have to become spontaneous, and that's hard for me as well because, excuse me, I am a planner. I like to have everything planned out to the T. So when you put spontaneity in it, sometimes it gets a little scary to me. And I talk about this, on my other show and other ventures that I'm doing. But sometimes you have to have a little spontaneity because that spontaneity puts you in a position of where you are vulnerable, where you're vulnerable. And some of us don't like vulnerability, but vulnerability is connected to purpose. Why? Because you strip yourself of every guard that you have up. You strip yourself of everything that's protected, quote unquote, protecting you, and you just are free to be who you've been created to be, regardless of how scary it is, regardless of how crazy it may seem. You are at that point. When you get to that point of vulnerability, you are at the greatest level of possibility in your life. And I guarantee you, when you really get to that place, you will experience crazy, crazy, crazy creativity. Now, I got talking so fast, I forgot to tell you guys who I am. Some of you may know me, some of you may not. My name is Clifton Pettyjohn. I'm a purpose strategist, author, transformation coach, spiritual leader, whatever you want to call me. But here's the thing that's important. I provide tools and strategies to transition individuals from a life of merely existing, to living a life full of purpose. And as I always say, we all can use a little more purpose in our lives. So that's what I do as a person. That's the point of every platform that I have. I just want to give you some tools. I want to give you some strategies. I want to challenge your thinking. I want to challenge where you are in life right now. I want to challenge where it is that you desire to go. Then I want to challenge you in the work behind where you desire to go, because some of us, we have some spaces that we desire to go to, but that's going to require a shift in the in our paradigm shift, as far as it relates to our mind, as it relates to our worth ethic, as it relates to where we go, what we do, what we say, who we're hanging around. It has to be a shift in all of that in order to experience some of the goals that we have in life. Now, I know some of you have some great goals set in life. You have some great goals, and you should. And if you can reach your goals in 1 to 2 days, or 1 to 2 months, or 3 months, 6 months, a year, and I'm talking about long-term goals, then you're not setting them big enough. Even with your small-term goals, if you're setting your small-term goals and you're smashing them without very little effort, without very little thought, you're setting the bar too low. And it can become very easy to live in a space where we set the bar low, especially if we are around, and I'm not talking about anybody, I'm really talking about a mentality around a set of people who have embraced the norm. And when we get around that, it's kind of easy to set the bar low, because many times when we set the bar above what everybody else is accomplishing, sometimes we become an enemy to our current tribe, or our current whatever it is, environment. We become an enemy to it. You think you're all that. You think you're better than me. You think you're better than all of us. You're gonna fail. You start to hear some of those things. And if you're not hearing some of those things, you're not thinking big enough. You're not. Or you may be around the right support system. You may be around the right support system. But I know many times I've experienced individuals who had outgrown that support system that they were in. If anybody knows anything about plants, indoor plants, whenever you're beginning to grow a plant, you put in a little pot, and then eventually it begins to grow and grow and grow, and then you have to repot it. You have to change the environment in it. It has to change to a bigger environment. Why? Because now the scope and the responsibility or the growth of that plant has outgrown where it was once planted. So now you take the roots, you take a little bit of the soil that was with it. You don't have to leave everything behind. You need some of that soil that you're rooted in with you. You take it, you become repotted. Eventually, it has to be repotted again until it's at its full growth, and it may continue to grow in full growth. Can I be honest with you? As it relates to us, y'all, we're going to continue to grow and grow and grow and grow. I'm 39 years old. You're ready to turn 40 December 23rd. Listen, and I'm ready to celebrate. But one of the things that I've learned, the more I live, the more I realize I know nothing. Do you hear me? The more I live, the more I realize I know nothing. Now, somebody said, Cliff, don't say that about yourself. I've heard you. You know a lot of things. No, the more I live, the more I realize that I know nothing. And then some of the knowledge that I have has expired. And that's the thing about growth and what now moments. When you begin to face those what now moments, you have to begin to shift with time. You have to shift with what's going on around you, shift with your environment. Now, I'm not talking about conforming, but I'm talking about when you begin to understand who you are, what you've been called and created to do, you begin to understand that there are some principles, tools, and strategies that you may have used last season, last year, last decade that just aren't fitting into the right now. So what do I do with my what now then? You begin to train yourself and teach yourself and acquire greater knowledge, acquire greater understanding, become a student. I tell you one thing I've learned in life is that we can carry many, 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 many titles. But one of the greatest titles that I believe that we can carry, and speaking from a relationship with God's standpoint, is the title of a disciple or a title of a student, where we understand that no matter how many times I stand and teach, I still need to sit and learn. You hear what I'm saying? I stand and teach a lot, and sometimes I sit and teach. I'm sitting now and talking. But I also take time to posture myself at a teacher that has experienced things that are, they've experienced greater things than I've experienced, or they're where I desire to go, or the next level, or the next dimension that I desire to go to. And can I be honest? I'll sit and learn from a child. Sometimes when we are quiet and allowing a child to talk, sometimes that child can say some things that we can grab hold of and begin to apply it in our everyday life. That's what we do with our what now moments. We grab hold of every possible learning experience, a possible learning experience. So I was looking at the clock. As I said, this is a training moment for me as well because I like to teach. And I'm going to be honest with you, sometimes I get a little lengthy with my teaching because I'm passionate about what I'm talking about. So what I'm trying to teach myself is to confine myself to 15 minutes and spit out in a manner that makes you want more, desire more. So you'll write me and say, hey, Cliff, when is the next podcast? When's the next time you're just going to hop on the mic? And this is not scripted. Nothing I do, radio wise or TV wise, honestly, is scripted because I feel like that organic flavor of it, it gives you the realness and the rawness of it, and I feel like people can gravitate to that more. Sure, I could sit and write a manuscript and sit and read from the manuscript, and you'll probably see me trip over some words sometimes because I'll start overthinking things. But I want to make sure that I'm giving you guys the purest essence of who I am. That's why I'm not even going to discuss topics. I'm just going to get on and talk. Tonight, like I said, we want to talk about what now moments. But in the midst of all of that, if it transitions to something else, then somebody listening needs what it transitioned to. And who am I to try to stay in what I planned out and then cause me to miss a moment of being able to minister to somebody that needed something? That's not me. I'm a prophetic person. Um, by nature. So therefore, I will go with the shift. There's times I've studied messages and thought, man, when I teach this, it's going to be powerful. Oh, I'm excited about it. Oh, God gave me this revelation. I can't wait to share this with them. And then at the last minute, when I stand up there, he completely shifts my message. He completely takes over and does what only he can do. And I don't struggle with that because I'd rather him do what he can do than me rely on the strength of myself to do what I can do. Why? Because with him, I can be more effective than I am with myself. So what do you do with those what now moments? You begin to shift and transition instead of fighting the process. And as we're entering this last month, and some of us have fought the process for these 11 months. Matter of fact, we're still fighting the process tonight or today or this evening or this morning or whatever you're listening to, this podcast. You're still fighting the process. And here's the thing that I told myself the other night. Why are you still fighting the process? You know it doesn't work. in your favor. You know that God knows what's best for you, even though it doesn't feel good, look good, taste good, sound good right now. You know that it's going to work for your good. How do you know that? Because that's his track record, Cliff. So why do you continue, or why must you continue to fight the process? So my encouragement to you today as I'm getting ready to close out, that 15 minutes went by quick, guys. It is crazy because I remember a time I couldn't stand in front of people and speak more than 3 or 4 minutes because I would be so nervous. And now 15 minutes seems like 2 or 3 minutes to me. But I want you to stop fighting the process as we're transitioning and getting ready to transition into December. I want you to stop fighting your process, embrace the process, understand that the process is a part of your purpose. And as long as you are fighting the process, you're fighting your purpose. And you were created with purpose. Therefore, you are fighting the creation of who you are. You're fighting yourself. So I want you to stop fighting yourself. Take the gloves off that you're using to fight yourself and now begin to fight for your purpose and begin to fight for your destiny and begin to fight for your vision. Why? Because it's waiting for you to understand who you are and walk in the power and authority of who you are. Again, my name is Clifton Pettyjohn. I hope I said something that encouraged and educated and empowered and strengthened you, and that's going to provoke you to growth. Be blessed.
Can you identify any areas in your life where stagnation is manifesting? Now, I know some of you might say, no, I can't. Well, I want us to look at stagnation for what it really is. Some people have identified stagnation as something that's not growing or that's not producing. I don't believe that's stagnation. To me, stagnation can also be that yes, we're growing, yes, we're producing. However, we're growing and producing in a manner that's disrespectful to the purpose and the greatness that resides inside of us. And listen, we all have areas where we can identify that we could be doing a lot better in. There's greater potential in those areas than we are experiencing. And guess what? I have a tool that will help you begin to experience transformation in those areas of stagnation in your life. And that tool is called From Stagnation to Transformation. That's right. That is my book, From Stagnation to Transformation. So I want you to head over to my website, www.cliftonpettyjohn.com. I want you to hit there. I want you to hit the Transformation tab. There you're going to find a free preview of my book. That's right, a free preview of my book. And I promise you, after you read the preview, you're going to want to invest in your personal transformation through purchasing the book. So again, hit over there, purchase the book. Let me know you purchased it. Here's what I always say, guys. If you purchase the book, you read the book, you apply the principles in your life, and yet you still are stagnant in the areas that you are applying them to, and you're not experiencing any transformation, and you can prove to me that you have applied these principles, I will give you a 100% refund. That's right, a 100% refund. Why? Because I believe in the application of the principles that are outlined in this book. So again, visit www.cliftonpettyjohn.com and purchase your copy of From Stagnation to Transformation.